UH football fans continue to enjoy the Rainbow Warriors' big win against Boise State. Kanoa Leahy joins us now with more on what it will take to keep the celebration going.
An historic win over Boise State, an outright WAC championship, and a thus far unblemished record. Well, sounds good, but the Warriors, they say they're not done. They're eyeing a BCS berth, which more than ever is within reach. Yesterday, Hawaii made it to 12th in the Bowl Championship Series rankings. If they maintain or better that position with a win over Washington this Saturday, they'll be in. Big bowl game, big payday, about $4.2 million to be exact. The Hawaii players say they're taking this year for what it is, a once-in-a-college career type opportunity.
You know, this is our year. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't think about next year. I'm a junior, Adam's a junior. We got a lot of juniors who are talented, but we haven't thought about next year, you know? This is our year, and we want to just, you know, go undefeated, and that's our goal coming into this season was WAC champions. So every time we need a big play, you know, everybody buckled down, and we did it.
With all of it said and done, and to be where we are right now, I mean, feels like a huge weight's been lifted off our shoulder, and now I think there's kind of all this energy, all this new life, because you know, we've got our goal, what we set out to win, and now there's this great opportunity in front of us, and everyone seems healthy. You know, we got 1 week and then a great vacation, so it's you know, we have a lot of new life, I think, on this football team.
Brennan and Elamimian, who you saw in that soundbite, also got recognized today by the WAC. We will have more on that and what's to come for the Warriors a little bit later on in sports.
All right, looking forward to it.
Should be fun.
Thanks, Kanoa. At the end of Friday night's game, ESPN announcer Sean McDonough called the University of Hawaii's athletic facilities an embarrassment. This morning, Coach Jones agreed with that assessment.
I came here not for the facilities, and our players don't come here for the facilities. They come here because it's a great place to live and a great place to play football. And if we were recruiting to facilities, we wouldn't get anybody, you know. Those are the same dorms I lived in 1973.
In the spring, quarterback Cole Brennan criticized the school's facilities and maintenance. It led to some changes on campus. It also helped inspire an informational hearing between state legislators and athletics director Herman Frazier. The magnitude of a potential BCS game has some Rainbow Warrior fans already picking up the phone to call their travel agent. As Jai Cunningham explains, it could be a costly trip. Jai?
Joe, it depends on where the Warriors are sent to play. New Orleans, Arizona, California, none is a cheap deal when it comes to holiday travel.
If you want to celebrate what could be a perfect UH football season, then you better be ready to open up the checkbook, because perfection comes at a price.
Drive for New Orleans, we're looking probably about $1,500 for a package. The airfares are substantially high during this Christmas time.
Pricey and still another win away. But apparently there are some willing to dish out major money to watch what could be Hawaii's first ever BCS game.
Actually, we've gotten tons of phone calls, we've got tons of emails. We've actually had people showing up today asking about a BCS bowl game package.
Panda is already forming a list and already taking steps to make a postseason dream trip a reality.
We are in the works. We have some block seats that we're working on. We're looking for hotel rooms. It's just a matter of where are they going to end up playing.
And that is the multi-million-dollar question for the Warriors and fans, with an undefeated Hawaii team possibly going to one of 3 bowls.
As far as a West Coast city, I think the Vegas one we did was just under $800, and it was a sellout. We took over 1,000 people with us.
Exciting if it's Los Angeles. We've got Disneyland, Anaheim, you know, be significantly cheaper, you know, at least hopefully under $1,000 to get a whole package.
Now, Panda Travel says it will be ready with a travel package if all goes well by Monday. As for how many people would be willing to fork out the big money to go watch Hawaii play, that's a question that could take weeks to answer. Jai Cunningham, KHON 2 News.
All of the excitement surrounding the UH football team has led to record sales for UH gear. Right now, the hottest selling item is the WAC Champions t-shirt. This morning, it took only 15 minutes for the shirts to nearly sell out at the UH Manoa bookstore. Business was just as brisk at the Rainbow Teak store at Ward Center. The university is already looking forward to more gridiron success.
We're going to have a BCS shirts. We're going to try to get the BCS shirt hopefully next week. and it's going to be great. I think we're looking forward to that.
Proceeds from UH merchandise sold online or at Rainbow Teak locations go directly toward the university's educational programs. Outside vendors who use an official UH logo or design must pay the university an 8% wholesale fee. Aloha Stadium officials say this Saturday's swap meet will go on as planned, but will be cut short by 2 hours. Officials announced today that the swap meet will close at 1 o'clock instead of 3. This will allow tailgaters to begin entering the stadium through the lower Halava gate at 1:30. The remaining gates will open at 2:30. Kickoff is not until 6:30. With a sold-out crowd expected for Saturday's game, the stadium's 8,000 parking stalls are likely to fill up fast. And yes, I did say the kickoff for this coming Saturday's game is 6:30, not the normal 6:05 or even earlier as the Boise game was.
First ever WAC championship, at least outright WAC championship, and now have a chance to do something even more incredible. An 11-0, a berth into a big money BCS game for the UH Warrior football team is more than ever before within reach. Yesterday, UH jumped to 12th in the Bowl Championship Series rankings. If they can maintain or better that position with a win this week over 4-8 Washington in their season finale, Hawaii would be BCS bound and due for a $4.2 million payday. But with one game left against a Pac-10 team, the Hawaii players are taking nothing for granted.
It was good, start getting some, recognition, but at the same time, it's like we don't want to be, having a big party and then next, this week lose to Washington. That's gonna be embarrassing, That's just gonna prove everybody right. I told you, Hawaii's not a great team, losing to a 4-8, Washington team.
Everyone I know is saying, BCS, who might we play? And if everybody really wants that to be a reality, all the fans out there, then they need to really focus on Washington, because unless we get through this week's game, there's no chance of that ever happening. And Washington is a good football team. So we have another war, this Saturday, and we're going to need, another great performance by everybody, fans, players included. And so we get that win, and then we can really have some fun.
This week's opponent, the Washington Huskies. They're 4-8, having finished last in the Pac-10 at 2-7 in conference. But they do have some athleticism in sophomore quarterback Jake Locker and senior running back Lewis Rankin, who were 6th and 4th in the conference respectively in rushing yards.
Well, they played the hardest schedule. I read in the paper that it was the most difficult schedule in the country. And they had SC, they had Ohio State, I think at halftime even. And they beat Cal, who was 1 or 2 at home at Cal. So they're pretty good.
It kind of reminds me of our first year. We had all the talent, but we just didn't put it together yet. But we played with everyone. We played with Boise. We played with a lot of good teams that year, and I think that Washington's going to come out and play with us, especially the season they've had. And we've got to get this victory. And then with that said, then it's really time to start talking about what's in front of us and what we can do.
Also today, Elamimian and Brennan both received WAC Player of the Week honors. Elamimian on the defensive side for his 14 tackles, 10 of which solo, while helping keep Boise State's vaunted rushing attack to just 101 yards. And Brennan was the Offensive Player of the Week, throwing for 495 yards and 5 touchdowns. Saturday is also senior night. You kind of get lost in all of the hype, the fact that this will be the last home game, considering, for one of the most successful classes in program history. Start time is 6:30 p.m. It will air live on ESPN2. Game is already sold out. Meanwhile,